our winter's fully booked out. I'm booked out. I'm starting to already book into spring of next year. I've got 6 total guys on my crew, and I'm running a second sub crew on top of that just to keep up with things. We're walking around Costco, and people are recognizing my hat, and they're like, "Oh, Western Rockies, is that your guys' company?" Like, I know that. We're gonna call you guys because we want this done to our place, and like, we're actually becoming a brand that people are recognizing, not just another contractor that's out
Hmm.
there. If it hadn't worked out and we only finished that last job, not only would I have not had money for the business, I wouldn't have had money for my family, and I certainly wouldn't have had money for my guys. But I took that next step and I took that leap of faith, and not only did you provide, you over provided.
Maybe a good place to start is, how did we meet? You know, before there was a time in which we did not know each other, and so how did you get in contact with me, or vice versa?
I had to go through Adam because I actually couldn't figure out how to get in contact with you. He was like, I found this guy, and I'm like, I've looked at his site, and I can't figure out how to get in contact with him at all. So
Funny.
then he got in contact with you, and then got us in contact.
Yeah. What was it? So I think Adam came through one of my ads on Facebook, if I remember
I think so,
correctly.
yeah.
I guess the question I would have for you is like, where were you at before we started work together that caused you to start looking for me or someone like
Uh, I mean, are we recording right now? Are we doing it right now? Or are we?
me? Yeah, we're in the middle of it.
Oh, well, you got to now. We got to restart.
Just like free flow. All it's like how I do all of my calls. We're
Okay.
like it's going right now, so I just ask it again. It's just like, um, where was the business at? Where were you at when it was time for us to? Let me start that. Before we started working together, where was the business at? What caused you to reach out to me?
So my business was not crazy old, which it still isn't. Overall, if you count like just when I started it, uh, Western Rockies is about 2.5 years old. As far as when I started running a crew, uh, and you and I started talking and stuff, we're what was it, about a year and a half old. So I was
Mhm.
running on my own for about a year. Um, so the only way I was even getting ads, which I didn't even know how to find someone to do ads or what that even looked like, but I was running ads through a free local newspaper. I was paying for the ads, but the newspaper's free. We had stayed afloat like that for a while, but I had only had me and one other guy, and the jobs would take long enough in between because of just the two of us that we were able to stay afloat. I knew I needed to go out and try and find more jobs and be able to do more consultations, but then I was just leaving my other guy by himself, which wasn't very fair. And he wanted me to bring on one more guy. I wasn't very apt to do so because I'm like, I don't have it in the budget. Like, I'm too small. I don't have money to pay another guy while I'm not even on site, because then I'm not really even earning any money. I'm paying the other guy. Um, but I did it anyways. And then we made it through one winter purely because of that really big long job that I was telling you about, the 226-foot long deck.
Yeah.
Between the three of us, that took us 2 months. Albeit we were having to face screw the whole thing, which was not fun. But so that took us through the winter, which was a major blessing. And then I had a couple of smaller jobs still lined up. But when you and I first got in touch with each other, I only had one job left after the one that we were on. Um, which is, I mean, it's a scary feeling. You know, you've got not just my family, but I got two other guys' families that I'm trying to help provide for, and I've got one job left. And then one of my guys comes to me and is like, "Hey, I found this guy. I want you to talk to him." Well, how much is it going to be? Well, it's going to be XYZ amount of dollars. Like, I can't do that. That's not at all feasible for me. I've got one job left. If he goes forth and doesn't provide what he says he's going to provide, we're all screwed. We're under, we don't have jobs. And I talked to my cousin who owns a roofing company, who I've talked to you about in
Yeah.
Colorado. Like, hey, what's your experience with lead generation? He's like, don't do it. But I decided to still at least have that conversation with you, in which, predictably, obviously, trying to sell something, you told me that wouldn't happen. I'm a very skeptical person, so I do my research. I did very extensive research on you that you don't even know about.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I did bunch of back end research on, kind of like going through different testimonials that you had as well. Prayed about it a lot. Still felt very uneasy and nervous about it, but I'm like, hey, I have nothing else coming in, and I gotta try and make sure that I've got something for these guys. Essentially, let's throw a Hail Mary and see if he's legitimate or not, and decided to do it. Took, I'd say, probably a good week or two before I actually really started to get leads coming in. But once they started coming in, it was more than I could handle. To the point where we were doing, in a small market where, between the 8 cities surrounding me and the one I'm in, a total of like 90,000 people and very saturated with contractors. And yet I was getting 40, 50 leads a month. Um, on top of that, like, you've been obviously very hands-on and helpful with things on, hey, can we try this angle? Can we do this? Um, just overall a very pleasant experience, to where I've actually been able to go to my cousin who was like, absolutely not, don't do lead generation. He's like, all right, let me talk to this guy.
Mhm.
You know?
Mhm.
And so it's been a very pleasant experience. I've gone from just me and one other guy, and then bringing on a third guy and being really stressed about it, to now I've got uh, several jobs lined up. I don't have to worry about work. I've got 6 total guys on my crew, and I'm running a second sub crew on top of that just to keep up with things. Um, and yeah, it's exponentially grown my business by a lot more than I ever could have by myself. Um, I've grown up around business my whole life because my dad's been a business owner, but the ins and outs of it and how to actually make it thrive, I can sell really good. To actually make the business thrive and get me in front of the people is the bigger challenge.
Yeah.
So to have the ability to be able to just have something that actually gets me in front of them is exactly what I needed, and it's been really, really good.
You know, one of the prevailing themes of every conversation I ever have with anybody before they work with me is just that there is a track record of broken promises
Yep.
that they've had, which, if you're a child and you touch the stove and you get burned, what do you learn not to do? You don't touch the stove.
Yep.
But as you get older, you're like, that stove is actually really important because it helps me cook food. And like, I need to use that stove because it like is important for like growing up and being an adult. And so there's a natural like learning curve and like cycle to get through when it comes to actually pressing through that. And I find that a lot of guys I talk to are legitimately in a catch-22 where it's legitimately like, I need something to change, because if nothing changes, nothing changes, and the status quo is that like we're barely making it, and I don't know where the next job's coming from, and I hate that feeling of like unpredictability.
Yeah.
And so guys are still searching to get in front of me at some point because they need something to change. But a lot of guys are also very reluctant to move forward because of the fear of, yeah, but if this doesn't work, well, then like I'm worse off. I'm already in a bad spot.
Yep.
So I say all of that to say, what I'm really interested in hearing more about is what was it? Was it a step of faith for you ultimately? Like, what was it that got you to the place where one, you were like, all right, I'm going to try this out. Now you spoke to that a little bit, but I'd love to hear a little bit more about it, because for the guys that are skeptical and for the guys that are like nervous, but like want to see, like they want the outcome you're talking about, but maybe they don't even believe that you're honest, like right now,
Yeah.
right? Like, I'd love for you to just kind of elaborate on like why were you able to go from skeptic to like believer, and like really kind of qualify more specifically like what shifted for you to actually get the results that you have now?
A lot of it was just going out on a limb and faith-based.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I said, I had prayed about it a lot. So one of the biggest things with my market is and I know I've explained this to you, but we're very behind compared to the rest of the U.S. When you pull the actual statistics of where I live up in the Northwest, we're both technology-wise and just in general lifestyle-wise 10 years behind the rest of the U.S. So when you're like, oh, I do, Meta ads and Facebook ads, like that's not going to work up here. But at the same time, my heart, not just like one as a veteran, but two just as a person in general, is whoever's in my corner, I will fight tooth and nail for. Like I will literally drain my bank account and suffer on the back end to try and make sure that my guys' families and them are taken care of. I'll put my business under before I let them and their families go under. And so even though I didn't have a ton of capital and I didn't know what the outcome would be, especially Facebook up where I live, I was willing to take at least that first step to try it out, dip my toe in per se, to try and see if it was something that I would be able to continue to provide for them.
Yeah.
Which in the long run, I mean, we've gotten into a new place because of it. I've been able to get new equipment because of it. I've been able to grow my business and my team because of it. Very, very scary step to take.
Mm-hmm.
And especially because of the fact that talking to not just my cousin, other contractors too, but talking to other people that I know and I trust, and they're don't do it, like it's nothing but a scam, to still step forward and at least try it when I've got nothing else left, was a scary step. But I'd say it was pretty much 100% faith-based. Let's try, and I'm going to do what I can to provide for my guys. Because at the end of the day, if the business goes under, I can't sit there and say, well, I didn't even try. I at least tried. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I did. I tried, and I was blessed enough that my try was with you, and I've gotten a lot of progress and growth because of it.
When you think about where the business is now on the other side of that, on the other side of that, like stepping out of the boat experience for you,
yeah,
how does it feel? I mean, like actually, like how does it feel to think about where you're at now in contrast to the pre-yes, when you were like rocking a hard place, I am very nervous because the consequence of this decision could be damning in a lot of ways. To have a positive experience on the other side and that like eighth step really like rewarded. What's it feel like now? Like when you actually like just kind of sit in the place that you're in, if like it's August and you're thinking about being booked out to the winter already, and like having like knowing where your next jobs are coming from, and also knowing where like knowing that you have jobs lined up, and also knowing where your next jobs are coming from because you're still getting leads when we're running. You know?
Yeah. Uh, it feels freeing. Um, that first winter where we were doing that long job, the long deck job. Um, I was just stoked that we even made it through that winter because the entire summer I was stressed the whole time knowing winter was coming.
Mm-hmm.
By the grace of God, I landed that really big job, which brought us through the winter. But then immediately after it was done, I'm back to, okay, we're coming into spring. I know things are going to start picking up, but what's next winter going to look like? Because there's not going to be a 226-foot long deck to do next winter. Um, when I first met with you and we got set up, it was coming into early spring. So I knew things would eventually pick up. I just had to hold on until they did. But how was I going to make it through next winter? I don't know. And by the time we got set up, the ball started rolling, and it was probably May, April, probably around like April-ish. Um, we were already booking into the fall. And then by the time peak season came and we're in the middle of summer, our winter's fully booked out. And I've got guys that other contractor buddies that I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm booked out. I'm starting to already book into spring of next year. They're like, man, that'd be nice. I wish I had that, like that sort of security, because I'm still even just trying to fill out my summer schedule in the middle of peak season.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's been very freeing, especially being able to get to the point where I have a bigger crew now. We're taking on a lot cooler, bigger jobs. Um, things that I would have never even gotten positioned in front of the people that I've been able to be positioned in without the ads that you provided, because they'll even bring it up like, wow, we saw your ad. It looked really crisp and clean. Like it was super professional. We really liked it and we liked what you were saying. So we looked you up and then we saw some of the work that you were doing and we're like, okay, this is our guy. We got to call him. Which a lot of them self-book, but some of them, like this really big one, they were ones who did their research first after seeing the ad, and they're like, I don't care what it costs, this is our guy.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never gotten in front of them by a tiny little newspaper ad.
And how big was that deck?
That one is going to be over $200,000. Yeah,
Nice day's
it's a big
work.
ad.
Yeah. So the guys that are watching this, they're like, and it sounds good. But what would you say to that guy that's like on the fence?
As far as like doing the ads, or as far as
Like saying yes,
what part of being on the fence?
saying yes
Saying yes
to
to
the
you.
offer, like actually take care of them.
I would say that uh, I know that it's scary. I was, for lack of better terminology, sweating bullets with the idea. Um, but sometimes in your life, you got to take a leap of faith. Uh, it's Think about how when you first started your business, was starting a business the best idea for you to do, or was the 9 to 5 job that was already stable the best idea? Probably for most people, the 9 to 5 job. But you took that leap to start your business to not just better yourself, but better your family, have more freedom, be able to grow. You've now nurtured that and grown it to where you can. It's the same type of process. You still have to do that leap of faith as you did when opening the business for your business. I'm not one who I tend to play it a lot more on the safe side with things. The the end result has to justify the means for me. Um, I have numerous ways that I can examples that I can give you of how I'm constantly weighing the odds. But at the same time, I always, like I said, take care of those who I put in charge to take care of. So although it's a scary process, a scary thought, and you're like, man, if I do it and it doesn't work out, I'm going under. I was in the same boat. If you hadn't worked out, the money that I spent to get things off the ground with you, if it hadn't worked out and we only finished that last job, not only would I have not had money for the business, I wouldn't have had money for my family, and I certainly wouldn't have had money for my guys. But I took that next step and I took that leap of faith, and not only did you provide, you over provided, and it has now exponentially grown me. We're walking around Costco and people are recognizing my hat and they're like, "Oh, Western Rockies, is that your guys' company?" Like, I know that. We're going to call you guys because we want this done to our place. And like, we're actually becoming a brand that people are recognizing, not just another contractor that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I'm in a very, very saturated market. Every other guy around the block is a contractor. And it's a very small market, 90,000 people for 8 cities wide total. Um, with the Facebook ad portion, I didn't think it would work. We're behind on lifestyle and technology and everything to where even when I started it, I had other contractors commenting on my ads saying, "Oh man, a Facebook ad up here, like you're clearly not actually from here. You're some Californian, like blah blah, like just trying to trash me," which I just delete because I'm born and raised here. Like you can talk whatever type of crap you want to talk about. It's not true. Um, but now the reverse is I'm noticing a bunch of other contractors now putting on Facebook ads, and not only that, they're starting to copy some of the same wording. Oh yeah, this and this and this. And I'm like, okay, so you're first dogging me, but now you're seeing how successful I'm being, and you're now trying to catch up and copycat. But our groundwork has already been laid to where I'm sure they're probably getting some business off of it, but people already know us from it,
Mm-hmm.
not all of them.
Yeah.
So, what circling back around, I know it's scary, and I know you probably think it's not going to work in my market. I was in the same boat. Um, but just like when you opened your business, take that leap of faith. And at least with you, you actually follow through. Um, don't, I'd say don't take the leap of faith unless it's with you. If it's somewhere else, I'm not gonna put my name on that.
Yeah.
Um, I stand very heavily with what I'm willing to put my name on and what I'm not, and I will happily put my name on you and what you do.